The sky was painted in shades of gray as dusk settled over the quiet town, a soft drizzle misting the streets and turning the cobblestones slick with rainwater. People hurried along the main road, shielding themselves under umbrellas, their faces hidden and their footsteps quick, focused only on getting home. No one noticed the young woman standing alone on the old stone bridge, her clothes drenched, her shoulders trembling as tears blended with raindrops on her cheeks. She stood motionless, leaning slightly over the railing, her eyes distant and hollow as though she no longer belonged to this world. Car lights flashed briefly across her figure, but no one slowed down, no one asked if she was okay. Just a few steps away, Daniel Carter walked with his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, her small hand wrapped securely in his as they made their way home from the grocery store. Lily tugged at his sleeve, her voice barely above a whisper as she pointed to the bridge. "Daddy, why is that lady crying?" Daniel followed her gaze and felt a familiar ache tighten in his chest. He saw the despair in the woman's eyes, the same hollow sorrow he had seen in his own reflection after his wife's death. He knew what it meant to feel that alone. He knelt beside his daughter and brushed a strand of wet hair from her face. "Stay close to me, sweetheart," he murmured, his voice calm but laced with urgency. While the world kept walking, Daniel turned toward the bridge, gently guiding Lily alongside him. The rain fell harder now, drumming softly against the stone steps as they approached the woman. Daniel stopped a few feet away, not wanting to startle her. "Miss," he said softly, "are you okay?" She didn't answer, didn't turn, only tightened her grip on the railing. People still passed behind them, glancing briefly before looking away, pretending not to see. But Daniel stayed. Lily, peeking from behind her father's coat, whispered, "Please don't cry." The woman's shoulders shook, a broken sound caught in her throat. For the first time that night, she realized someone had actually stopped, someone cared enough to notice. And in that moment, her world didn't feel entirely empty anymore. The rain continued to fall in a soft, steady curtain as Daniel slowly stepped closer, keeping his voice low and gentle so as not to frighten the fragile woman before him. "Please," he said softly, "you don't have to do this." The woman's fingers clung to the cold metal railing, knuckles pale, her wet hair sticking to her face as she whispered, almost angrily, "Go away, just leave me alone." But Daniel didn't leave. Lily, still holding tightly to her father's coat, bit her lip nervously but didn't let go. The woman finally turned her head, tears spilling from her hollow eyes. "Why are you here?" "You don't even know me," she choked out, her voice raw from crying. Daniel took a slow breath, his heart aching at the pain in her voice. "Because I know what it feels like to think no one cares," he said, his voice trembling slightly, memories of lonely nights without his wife flashing across his mind. "You may not know us, but that doesn't mean we can't care." The woman looked down, her shoulders shaking. "I've lost everything," she whispered, the rain disguising the tears. "My parents don't speak to me, I lost my job, my fiancé left me. I have nowhere to go, nowhere to belong." Daniel's eyes softened. He took off his coat despite the cold and gently placed it around her shoulders. "You do belong," he said gently, "you belong here, in this world, and right now, you belong with us. Just, step away from the edge." Lily, her voice barely above a whisper, added, "Daddy makes hot soup, and we have blankets, you don't have to be alone." Something in the woman's expression broke, her lips trembled, her eyes filled with disbelief and faint hope. The world around them continued rushing by, umbrellas and footsteps and indifference, but here, on this rain-soaked bridge, time seemed to stop. Slowly, painfully, she loosened her grip on the railing. Daniel extended his hand, not pushing, just waiting. After a trembling breath, she reached for it. He held her gently, guiding her away from the edge as Lily wrapped her tiny arms around the woman's drenched dress. And for the first time in a long while, the woman felt the warmth of kindness, fragile, but real. The walk back to Daniel's small house was quiet, the rain easing to a gentle drizzle, leaving behind the soft scent of wet earth and distant chimney smoke. The woman, Emily, as she finally whispered when Lily asked her name, walked between them silently, wrapped in Daniel's coat, her eyes red but calmer than before. Lily skipped slightly ahead, glancing back every now and then to make sure Emily was still following. When they arrived at the little brick house at the end of Maple Street, the porch light flickered warmly in the growing darkness. Daniel opened the door and the comforting smell of lavender and old wood welcomed them inside. The living room was small but cozy, faded photographs on the walls, a worn-out couch with a knitted blanket, and a small shelf of children's books. Emily stood uncertainly near the doorway, shivering slightly, unsure if she truly belonged there. "You're safe," Daniel assured softly, gently encouraging her to sit near the heater. Lily rushed away and returned with her pink unicorn blanket, draping it carefully over Emily's shoulders. "It's my favorite," she said innocently, "but you can borrow it, only if it makes you smile." A soft, fragile laugh escaped Emily's lips, surprising even herself. Daniel handed her a steaming cup of tea and sat across from her, giving her space but making it clear she wasn't alone anymore. For a while, no one spoke. The silence wasn't heavy or painful, it was peaceful, like the quiet after a storm. Finally, Emily whispered, "Why are you doing this?" Daniel looked at the family photo on the mantel, his late wife smiling beside a younger Lily, and answered quietly, "Because someone once stayed when I wanted to give up. And because Lily reminded me tonight that kindness is simple, you just don't walk away." Emily's eyes filled with tears again, but this time they weren't from hopelessness. She nodded slowly and wrapped the blanket closer around her. Daniel offered the couch for the night, and Lily insisted on placing a stuffed teddy bear beside her pillow. As the rain stopped and the house fell into a soft silence, Emily lay under the warm blanket, staring at the ceiling. She didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but for the first time in months, she wanted to find out. Morning sunlight filtered gently through the curtains, casting golden lines across the living room where Emily slept curled beneath Lily's pink unicorn blanket. For a moment, she lay still, listening to the soft clinking of dishes and the quiet hum of life in a home that wasn't hers, but somehow felt safe. Daniel was in the kitchen preparing breakfast, and Lily sat at the table, swinging her feet as she drew on a sheet of paper. When Emily slowly sat up, Lily looked up and smiled brightly. "Good morning," she chirped, holding out a drawing of the three of them standing under a bright sun. Emily's chest tightened with emotion she couldn't name. She wiped her eyes as Daniel approached with a gentle smile and a plate of warm pancakes drizzled with honey. "You don't have to say anything," he said softly, noticing her tears, "just eat, and breathe." They ate together quietly, the aroma of coffee and syrup filling the room, and for the first time in a long time, Emily didn't feel like a burden, she felt seen. After breakfast, she stood by the window, looking at the world outside, people walking, children laughing, life moving forward. Daniel joined her and said, "You don't have to have all the answers today. Just take one step." His words anchored something deep inside her. Emily turned to him, voice trembling yet determined. "Thank you, for not turning away like everyone else." Lily came over and wrapped her arms around Emily's waist. "You can stay with us, if you want," she whispered. Emily knelt and hugged her tightly, her tears falling freely now, not from despair, but from overwhelming gratitude. Daniel nodded. "You're not alone anymore." That evening, as the sky blushed with hues of orange and pink, Emily stepped outside onto the small porch. The cool breeze brushed against her skin, but it no longer felt like loneliness, it felt like a beginning. The memories of the bridge were still there, but they no longer pulled her down. Instead, they reminded her how far she had come. She turned back to see Lily waving from the doorway and Daniel standing beside her, and for the first time, Emily believed she could build a new life, one gentle sunrise at a time.